Now, you can probably tell already from what I said that I am not politically correct. And I absolutely despise political correctness because it's antithetical to one of the founding principles of our nation, freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And there's no way we should submit to it or to those people who spend so much time and effort trying to divide us. You know, we, the people of America, are not each other's enemies. The enemies are those people who are attempting to divide us into every category possible. And they want you to sit quietly and fit into the little niches that they have created. And if you don't, you're in trouble. I mean, just think about this. If you are pro-life, you are anti-woman. Now, how ridiculous is that? I mean, it really doesn't make any sense on any level when you think about it. If you are pro-traditional family, then you are homophobic. Is that, beyond belief silly? If you're white and you disagree with a progressive black, you're a racist. If you're black and you disagree with a progressive white, you're crazy. I mean, I mean, is it ridiculous? It's ridiculous. But people buy into this stuff, and they allow themselves to be intimidated by this, and that's all they want. They want you to shut up, because if you don't speak up and stand up for what you believe, they win by default. So they don't really care what you think as long as you stay quiet. That's what political correctness is all about. And it's time for us to throw it out because it doesn't belong as a part of American fabric. Intimidation is their greatest tool. And, I can remember when I was a youngster, and I was afraid of dogs. I was intimidated by dogs. And I would be late going to school because there would be a dog there, and I'd go all the way around the block, and then there'd be one there too. So, I had to keep going until I could find a way to get to school. But a man told me when I was 8 years old, if you're not afraid of dogs, and if you ignore them, they won't bother you. I said, you sure about this? And there was this dog on our street. His name was Rusty. He was ferocious. Everybody avoided going down there. But I said, I'm going to test this out. So I went walking down there where Rusty was. He could not believe it. Started licking his chops. And as I walked down, came running out, snarling and growling, barking. And I said, yes, this was a mistake. But he ran right up to my leg, turned around, went back. The next time when I came down there, he just snarled and barked from the porch. The next time, he didn't even get up. I just walked by. And it was absolutely true. It was the intimidation factor. Once he figured that I wasn't afraid of him, why waste his time? And the fact of the matter is, that's the same thing with the progressives. If you ignore them, don't allow them to control you, they will, too, go find something else to do. So that's what we're going to have to do with them. Listen to them. Now, my big dream was to be a doctor. Even when I wasn't such a great student, there was something about being a doctor that just grabbed me. Particularly, I used to listen to the mission stories in church and Sabbath school. They would talk about missionary doctors traveling all over the world, great personal sacrifice to bring not only physical but mental and spiritual healing to people. And I decided when I was 8 years old that I would become a doctor. And that was my dream until I was 13, at which time, having grown up in dire poverty, I decided I'd rather be rich. So at that point, missionary doctor was out, and psychiatrist was in. I didn't know any psychiatrists, but on TV they seem like rich people. You know, they drove Jaguars, lived in the fancy mansions, had the big plush offices, and all they had to do was talk to crazy people all day. Seemed like I was doing that anyway, so I said, this is going to work out extremely well. But you know, later on, as life went on, I started asking myself, what are you really, really good at? Because, you know, I believe the Lord gives everybody special gifts and talents. And I started analyzing my life, and I realized I had a lot of eye-hand coordination, the ability to think in 3 dimensions. I was a very careful person. I never knocked things over and said, oops, which is a good characteristic for a brain surgeon, by the way. And I love dissecting things. So I put all that together, and that's how I came up with the ideal.